I was just wondering, Jeff, if you can offer some more specifics when you mentioned the 9 municipal side decreases. You just sort of alluded 3 dispatchers. Can you go through that a little bit?
The proposal is 3 DPW positions, 3 dispatchers, 1.5 clerical, a half-time librarian, and 1 someplace else. Pub? One firefighter. And then overtime in public safety.
So none of those sound great, but what jumps out to me as the dispatchers,
Yes.
how many do we have now? What kind of volume do they handle? And how has that changed in terms of volume in the past?
I defer to the police chief.
Good evening. Let me just first say, when we talk about what percentage of our budgets are personnel involved, my budget is 93%. You cut $1 from me, that's somebody going out the door or services that we can't provide you. 93%, pretty high. As far as my dispatches go, I have a double dispatch running from 9 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the morning. The reason for this is this past year, we've handled about almost 80,000 business line phone calls that come into our station in the course of a year. Over 6,000 911 calls come in. Over 105,000 radio transmissions. So these people in that dispatch center are continually on the radios and on the phones constantly. How do we offset that? I'm going to have to peel off, as Jeff said, I want a car out in the street to go to the call. You don't call us to just talk to somebody on the phone, albeit many times you just do, because after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're it for the town. Any problem anybody has in town, they call us. I get water in my basement, my dog's loose, I smell smoke. We get them all after the hour. So I have to have someone physically there to answer the phone call, as well as for security reasons, as well as we also have a hotel in the back part of my station where we have guests frequently that have to be watched. So there are some of those things that we have to do with, and that dispatcher, with all the electronics and technology that he has or she has in that room, we were able to do that. By cutting back, I'm going to cut back to 1 dispatcher until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, most days of the week, and I'll only have a double dispatch from 3 in the afternoon to 11 at night. Many times that's our busiest time of the day. However, as of late, because of the influx of people coming into Franklin on a daily basis, we get about 70,000 people on a transient population on a daily basis. We have a lot of calls that come in a day. Hopefully I'll have someone in the station that when things get extremely busy, they can help out the dispatch for that crunch period, or our phone systems will have to flip a switch, and as much as I hate to say this, you might have to talk to a machine. If it's important, you'll call 911. If you'll want to wait, you might have to wait for it to ring 8 or 9 times. Those things have to be worked out. But I want to be able to tell the people of Franklin, when you call us, there's going to be a car coming towards you, and you're not going to get a machine at the other end of the line. The last thing you need to do is pick up the phone and call us. And when people call us, it's not to say, hey, have a nice day. They're calling us because they need something, they want something, they want immediate action, they want to talk to a real person. So I've got to do as much as I can to get somebody there and to have someone physically in the station to answer your questions. So we're going to lose some people.
Steve? Chief, can I just, in the original report that we did, I don't mean to put you on the spot for a data point, but in 1999 you had 46 officers. In 2008 you had 46 officers. Did you finish 2009 with 46?
No, I lost an officer's position last year. I'm down to 45 officers. Over the past 10 years, I've lost 5 officers. I've been down as many as 8. I've been back up to 46. I'm back down to 45. During that whole time, I've always had double dispatch. I never had to let go a civilian employee.
Can you just, and I've heard this before, and it was astounding to me, but do you remember how the ballpark, how the call volume has changed from 1999?
It's gone up probably at least a third in volume. We were probably somewhere around the high 20s, and we're now, I think this past year we did 41,000 different incidents.
Thank you.
Shannon?
So you're the chief. You're in charge of our security and civil order. What's the state of Franklin right now, and what do you fear if we have to have further cuts?
if I had a crystal ball. Actually, I've got to tell you, we have a great community. We really do. And I think that's because of our citizens themselves. We do a nice job policing ourselves a lot of times. However, what I have seen is an increase in violence. God knows what you can attribute it to, but there are more people carrying more weapons. We've had more armed robberies than we've ever had lately. We've got a good solvability rate, which speaks well of some of the, most of the people, if not all the people that work for us, and how they put a case together. Do I fear that at some point, I think we're playing with fire, and I don't want to steal the fire department's thunder, but I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I feel like there's the balloon and you blow so much air into it, and sooner or later it's going to pop. And I don't want to be the guy that's standing up here and everybody's pointing the finger at, why didn't you, how come you didn't? I'm telling you that we're at that point, that there is a fear that something could happen and that we're not going to be properly manned or prepared to take care of that. But I don't want to be an alarmist. We've got a great community, and I would like to tell you that we can handle what's going to come our way. But on any given day, you know, Tuesday sometimes is our busiest day of the week. Who would think Tuesday during a day shift would be busy for a police department versus a Friday night at 11 o'clock when it's mud, blood, and beer at the bar room, you know what I mean? But sometimes that's the way things happen. When I first came on the job, if I saw a car after midnight, there'd be like 5 cruisers following because it's the only thing we've seen. Let's follow that car until they mess up or something. There's no downtime now, days or nights. It's just no downtime. Sending one-man cars out to a call just doesn't cut it. For safety, not only for my officer, but for you as the citizens of Franklin. We have to maintain some kind of security and some kind of safety for our citizens in my offices, and it's that point. We're at that point. But I've told you that in years past. You know, I'm a little nervous about the amount of people we have. We are 5 officers down from where we were in 2000. It's 2011 we're talking about now. I don't have to tell you, look at our roads on a daily basis and the increase in traffic and the increase in business. And you know, you talk about 6,000 children coming to Franklin and increasing in our schools. Well, they're not 6,000 orphans. They have parents, they have brothers and sisters that may not be in their school systems, and come 3 o'clock, if you do not support the school in giving them money not only for sports, but for after-school activities, guess who's going to inherit them? The 4 or 5 officers I have on the street. You know, so we have to work together as a town. It does take a whole town to raise the children of our town.